Welcome back to Ace Attorney Anime Review, episode number 17. This is reviewing the 39th episode of the series, Turnabout Beginnings First Trial. Yeah, normally I review do this review series on Wednesday, but because I was so caught up with basically trying to get all the comics done that came out that day, and of course trying to continue plowing through season 11 for Case Closed, that's the reason why it's coming out today. Okay? Now, this particular episode takes place 6 years prior to events of the series because, well, according to when they had the introduction of Phoenix, when he first met Mia, that was 5 years before events of the series. This one takes place 6 years before events of the series. And like the line, this is the first of a two-parter. It's not bad. It's basically Okay, it's not a bad idea to do this. It's Mia Fey's first case. Yep, her first case. So, the episode starts off with her at a cafe. Of course, thinking about other things. Of course, they also do a flashback what happened 5 years before this episode. So, roughly, I'd say 11 years. So, the flashback they show in this episode, like the first flashback I shown here, that is set because at 5 years for this episode means that's roughly 11 years before the events of the series. Yep. Yeah, so they show like a policewoman confronting a death row inmate. There was a woman on a bridge, a woman with red hair, mind you. Yes, a woman with red hair. They don't reveal who this woman is until later. So, jump ahead to present day after the woman gets thrown off this bridge into this very fast, but basically this river that has tendency to have a very strong current and apparently not returning bodies. Yeah, hopefully they can be able to explain this. Okay, so we have it where the guy is accused of killing a policewoman, and of course there's various things like the fact that they arranged this meeting via her had to wear a white scarf because he had tendency to forget things. So apparently this happened at the same place from 5 years prior to events of the series, this episode. At this bridge, apparently they had a conversation. The woman just died of being stabbed in the back of all things. Now there was some things I really just like. Really, why would a woman who is now when they show they gets the witness, they refer to the body as a cadaver. Here's kind of the thing. Referring to the body as a cadaver, that's a term medical examiners use. Not normal civilian, not people who don't work for the city. Or whatever government that work for the government refer to as that. So Mia meets his niece's death rate. And when I saw this guy, like appearance-wise, he has a very similar face to that of Tiki Meek from D. Gray Man. How? The scars across his face. Yeah, it's very similar to Tiki Meek. Yeah, and it's a big bulky guy too. Of course, Mia, of course, wears the same outfit that she did in the previous time she was seen. Though this is set 1 year before the events of episode that came out 2 episodes for this one. Yep. So, and of course the prosecutor for this case is Miles Edgeworth. And believe it or not, it's actually his first case too. So at the time, by the time of present day, Miles had only been doing cases at that point for at least 6 years, for 5 years. Yep. And despite the fact that it's set 5 years in the past, at least 6 years in the past, Miles himself is wearing a slightly different outfit that he's not wearing presently. He still has the ascot that he's not wearing, the white ascot. But his shirt thing that he wears is completely different. It's the same coloring and outfit, but the shirt is different. So it's a slightly different outfit that he's not wearing present day. And apparently, the way Miles portrayed in this episode, he's very smart. He appears things like show off evidence, like a missing scarf that apparently he just happened to find on the bridge. When the heck he takes time to do that, never explained. I feel like this episode's like really, really quick. We see Dick Gumshoe in this episode. Yeah, his first chronological appearance in this franchise. And he looks exactly the same as he's probably the one character who actually did not change his appearance over time. Not that I could tell anyways. Yeah, if I remember, he looks pretty much the same. I mean, he still has the bandage under his eye, which I don't know where the heck that's from. The only difference for this episode is that it's a different judge from the previous time they had a case in the series. Yes, this is the judge from when they had the show of the killer thing from. Actually, not show of the killer. It was the one with the thief thing. Yeah, that particular one. Yeah, it's that judge, except he's got hair. Because in present day, he has no hair in his head, but he still has that big beard that looks like a Duck Dynasty beard, but without like the cheeks covering it with hair. Yeah. So, oh yeah, and when they introduced the witness, who they refer to as Melissa Flockhart, Melissa, how do they pronounce her name? It's Melissa. I think it's Miss Foster. I think it is. Yeah, I believe it's Melissa Foster. Let's see if I get this right here. It is. Yeah, Melissa Foster. When I saw her, I'm like, that's Dahlia. I knew right away that was Dahlia. And she's wearing the same exact outfit she did in present day. Well, at least with her when she made her next appearance for the second case. Yes. As for the reasoning of why she's wearing the same exact outfit, I have no idea. That's the weird thing when it comes to series. A lot of characters in the series wear the same exact outfit for no explained reason. In the case of Phoenix, he probably has several suits that he probably dry cleans. Mia, probably the same thing. But as for this woman, there is no explanation of why in the world she has the same exact outfit as she did in her second appearance. Well, in her second chronological appearance, anyways. Yep. So, and of course, the judge is head over heels for her. Yep, head over heels. And here's the thing, Diego is not intimidated by her good looks. Yeah, I mean, unlike the judge who's basically drooling over her, Diego is just doing nothing. He's also, yeah, Diego is Godot. Yeah, it's Godot from present day, except without the visor. Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's still drinking coffee in a trial. But at least it's not that gag where whenever he gets like when they finish the cup, he somehow magically gets another one. He's just still having a cup of coffee in his hand. Heck, it seems like the whole time this guy is seen on screen in this episode, he's always seen with a cup of coffee in his hand. It's like he can't have anything else. Now, when you see him present day, you actually don't see him constantly with a cup of coffee in his hand. I mean, he does move around and he does show off evidence. He doesn't constantly have a cup of coffee in his hand like this time he does. And he points out, and apparently, toward the end of the episode, he magically has the case file from the previous case that just popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, when the heck did he take time to do this? Was there stuff cut? Because it's like, he's talking to Dahlia, and then like, he's got the case file. When the heck did he take time to do that? He never even left the room. That's kind of the weird thing about this episode, is that it feels a bit. Now the writing is fine, but it feels a bit rushed. It's like, we have a witness, and boof, there she is, somehow. Yeah, because, you gotta have this picture taken. Somehow. Oh, yeah, and she says, she put this camera on a tripod and basically can't take a picture of itself. Yeah, it's particularly a very odd episode. Yes. I kind of felt this though, watching this episode, stuff was cut. Also, they didn't show the murder weapon because, they didn't physically show it because normally that's what he's supposed to do with these trials. He's supposed to show what the murder weapon looks like. This one, for some reason, didn't bother to show the murder weapon. As a matter of fact, aside from the scarf and maybe a couple of photos, they showed barely any evidence at all, aside from a freaking scarf and and two pictures. I'm like, really, Edgeworth? This is what you build the case on? a white scarf with a stain on it, and a couple pictures. I would think you would have a lot more evidence in this. But it's probably just beginning, but who the heck knows? I mean, yeah. But the problem with this episode is it has a bit of a pacing problem. The writing wise is perfectly fine, but it just goes along very quickly. Stuff comes completely out of nowhere. Yeah, it's a very odd episode, but the highlight is the dubbing. I think Colin Clickenbeard does a fantastic job. This is the second time in this series that she's actually she's taking the lead for an entire episode. Though this is the first episode in the series without Phoenix Wright in it. Yes, this is actually quite a surprise. The fact that you have an episode of a series called Ace Attorney, and the main character is Phoenix Wright, and he is nowhere in this episode. He's referenced. Yeah, I think he's mentioned a few times in the beginning of the episode, and you hear his voice like in the narration, but you don't physically see him. Not even present day, which is kind of odd. Maybe we'll see in next episode, but who the heck knows? Okay? So, that's it for this particular review. I have no other videos planned for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to have reviews for newest episode of Dragon Ball Super Dubbed, the newest episode of One Piece, newest episode of the anime, and newest episode of chapter of the manga, Baruto, and of course I'm going to do a review of newest chapter of 7 Deadly Sins. Yep, those videos will come out tomorrow, but today, no other video. I have no other videos planned for today. Yeah. So this episode was interesting, but a bit rushed, right? So, that's my final thoughts on this episode, right? So, until you see you all in the next review, bye.